Welcome back to the Us versus Them channel. I'm your host, Vince, and it's Friday. You guys know what Friday is. That's parlay day. I got 3 parlays for you guys, and I'm really excited to share these with you. But before I share them, if I can remind you guys, just to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that shit. You know, we appreciate all that stuff. But anyway, let's get into parlays. Got a fresh haircut, feeling good, and I'm really excited to share these with you guys. They don't pay as much as we do normally, but if you guys look at the past videos, you know, you realize that we picked pretty much all favorites this card, and I do think it's going to be a favorite heavy card this weekend. So because of that, there's really not a lot of paths to victory. You know, it's really a lot of the underdogs where you make your money, especially in parlays. So first parlay I got for you guys, all these are 3-leg parlays. This is a 3-leg parlay. Leg number 1, I have Veronica Hardy by KO or submission. Hardy is taking a step down in competition this weekend, and I think that she's going to be looking to find a finish. She has finishes in the UFC already. She's got sneaky arm bars, you know, sneaky submissions in general, and she's primarily a striker, so the KO prop is also really alive for her. So that prop is sitting at plus 320. I know I picked her this week by decision to win the fight. I think that still obviously can happen. It's a WMMA fight. Decisions are pretty likely. But, you know, there has been kind of a trend recently where these girls are finding finishes. And I think Veronica Hardy is probably going to want to jump on that train, get her career back to where it needs to be, and find a finish. She gets a finish in this fight against Bergen Walker. You know, Bergen Walker is not very good. She's 7-4 in her pro MMA career. She's never won a fight in the UFC. And this is going to be a step up in competition for her, for sure. So give me Veronica Hardy by KO or submission. That prop is sitting at plus 320. The next prop I have for you guys in this parlay, we got Pulihane Suriano by KO. I think that Veretennikov is just going to get, you know, I think Suriano honestly is just going to blitz him and find the punch that he's looking for. It could potentially be an early KO even. I think the round 1 KO prop is probably a lot more valuable. Maybe should have ran that, honestly. But here we are with this one. The KO prop right now for Suriano is sitting at a plus 140. So that's leg number 2. Leg number 3, I got Patchy Mix by submission. You know, I picked Patchy Mix early this week by decision, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that Patchy Mix has something to prove this weekend. That loss against Mario Batista probably left a bad taste in his mouth. He left a lot on the table, and I just don't see him doing that this weekend. Patchy Mix isn't really known for his KO power. He's only got 2 KO wins in his pro career, but he's definitely known for submissions. So, you know, give me Patchy Mix by submission. That prop is sitting at a plus 185. This parlay, $10 gives you $287. That's 28 extra money. Parlays number 2 and 3 contradict each other, so it's impossible for both of these to hit. But they don't contradict at all in parlay 1. So theoretically, we could hit parlay 1 and 2 or parlay 1 and 3 and make a nice profit this weekend. So parlay number 2, 3-leg parlay. First leg on that is Daniel Santos by decision. This is what we called earlier this week. I think it's going to be a competitive fight between him and Jusong Yu. And I think Santos' forward pressure lends them the ability to win this fight by... I think he's going to win by decision if he does win. He doesn't really... I mean, he has KO power for sure, but Jusong Yu is pretty durable. I think both of them are going to kind of nullify each other in the grappling. And outside of a club and sub, I don't really see a submission. And so so for this one, give me Daniel Santos by decision, plus 185. Next parlay or next prop we have is Joe Pyfer by knockout. That's sitting at a plus 135. This doesn't need a whole lot of explanation. This dude's got power in his hands. So the Joe Pyfer by knockout, you know, that's obviously something we have to sprinkle in there. The third parlay on this one is one of my favorite props of this entire card, and that's Yusuf Zalal by submission or KO. I know that Josh Emmett is super durable. I know that I picked Yusuf Zalal by decision earlier this week, but the more I thought about this, the more I started thinking about, like, Yusuf Zalal has title aspirations, and he's in a really, really stacked division. Getting a decision win over Josh Emmett is not what gets you a title shot. It's not really even what to get you a title eliminator shot. But if you finish Josh Emmett, you can get a title eliminator shot or even potentially a title shot. If they, you know, UFC wants to maybe tap in to the Afghanistan market or whatever. You know, we've never had an Afghanistan champion, so sometimes they promote guys for these reasons. But a decision win over Josh Emmett is probably not going to be enough, regardless. So I think Yusuf Zalal knows that too. I think he knows. He's talked about having title aspirations. He's talked about these things. He's called for the Josh Emmett fight. Josh Emmett is 40 years old. Josh Emmett has taken a lot of damage. So this prop is sitting at a plus 400 right now. That's why it's one of my favorite props for sure. So these three legs, you add them together, put them together. $10 turns into 279 bucks. That's basically 28 extra money. Parlay number 3. We're going kind of the other side on this one. We went Daniel Santos by decision on one side. We're going to go Jusong Yu by KO or decision on this side. Jusong Yu has big power in his hands, and he's really, really good at that check hook. I mean, that shit was fucking nice in his UFC debut. He showed in his past UFC fights, or past MMA fights, that he has big power in his hands. So, I want to sprinkle in something with a KO, but I also want to give him a chance for a decision. That's why I went the double chance on this one. Since Jusong Yu is a slight underdog, the double chance is sitting at a plus 145. So we're getting plus money on that. I feel very confidently that the first leg on parlay number 2 and 3 hit, just because there's pretty much 3 outcomes in this fight, and we got them all covered. So I feel really, really good about that. And the legs number 2 and 3 of both parlays is where we start gambling, and I'm okay with that. Leg number 2 on this parlay, we have Joe Pyfer by decision. Joe Pyfer, he does have big power in his hands, but we've seen the Gastelum fight. That power does tend to kind of go away a little bit. Gastelum is obviously super fucking durable, and he's really, really hard to put away. And Abus Magomedov can be hard to put away too if he doesn't get caught clean. He does do really good with his bladed stance and his in and out footwork. I don't think Abus Magomedov is going to win this fight, but I do believe that Joe Pyfer is going to win by decision or knockout. Pyfer also has sneaky grappling, so he could throw a fucking submission in there and blow our shit up entirely. But I think that's definitely the least likely outcome for sure. If you look on any of the sports books, you'll see that Vegas putting their money on the line and saying that's the least likely outcome as well. So I feel really good about the second leg hitting too. One of these second legs on these 2 parlays. So we have that one. That's our second leg on parlay number 3. We're going to finish it off with Yuri Prochazka by knockout. Yuri's an expert at putting people's fucking lights out. And I know Khalil Rountree's tough and durable. Part of me wanted to lay us, some money on the decision prop. But, at the end of the day, we have to kind of pick a side. And obviously the knockout prop is the most likely outcome. This dude's a finisher. He does, move forward to do damage. He has the intention of doing damage. And I do believe Yuri Prochazka is winning this weekend. So that prop is sitting at a plus 100. If you put these 3 legs together, $10 turns into 235 bucks. That's 23 extra money. That's all I got for you guys in this video. I think we were pretty strategic in putting these together. So if you are feeling these fighters to win, really consider tailing these parlays. Because I think one of these is definitely going to hit and kind of get the monkey off our back a little bit. I know I hit recently, not too long ago, 61x our money. But I didn't give that parlay to you guys, and that's what sucks. I want to get a parlay out to you guys that actually hits, and I feel really good about these ones. Like I said, there's big favorites on these ones, and I think the favorites are going to have their way this weekend, so there's limited opportunity to make money. So there's a lot of fights that we skip to add the parlays. But, as always, I really welcome your guys' opinion on these. Let me know what you think about my parlays. Let me know what parlays you're running. CJ Nix, I know you're going to probably jump in here and let me know what you're running, so I appreciate that. And I'm rambling, so I'm going to get out of here. See ya. Enjoy the fights this weekend.